Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us on this Thursday. I'm meteorologist Jen Carfagno.
And I'm Anna Rodriguez. Winter storm Helena bringing snow to many parts of the U.S., the West, the Central, and coming soon, the big attraction, the Mid-Atlantic and the Southeast.
Yeah, we've got a packed weather map out there today, starting with some snow, how they're treating, plowing the roads. Take it easy, because even a light coating, a quarter of an inch, a half inch of snow can make the roads slick. And what we're finding right now is actually fairly light snow moving through St. Louis. Same thing happening right now in Indianapolis and Cincinnati coming on in. Radar looking quiet at the moment in Kansas City, but we picked up 1 to 3 inches of snow already overnight. That's going to be there for your commute. Look at those temperatures. 11 in Kansas City. Denver, it's snowing. Visibility now down to 3/4 of a mile, and we've got a temperature of 3. Even if you did pre-treat the roads at those kind of temperatures, it's hard for the chemicals to work. So let's take a look at what we're going to expect. Time the snow out today. Colorado, we're going to watch the roads for you through today. In terms of falling precipitation, that's going to be going away as we get into the afternoon. In fact, the winter weather advisories got posted across this area. For St. Louis, for example, only go to about noon or 2 o'clock. But then we're going to see that snow spread. So West Virginia, we see snow moving in for you. I-70 here across Maryland is going to be an issue. And then overnight tonight, we'll see the chance for some snow spreading into D.C. It's possible you could wake up in the morning if you're a commuter into D.C. with snow-covered roadways. And New York City, you may wake up to some snow falling by tomorrow morning in the area. Not a lot, but enough, right? There's just not the volume of equipment to get the roads cleaned up, because you don't need it very often. The average snowfall is just a couple of inches across parts of the south. All right, so let's see. Winter weather watch, winter storm watches have been posted now. Birmingham, Talladega, you're in it. LaGrange, Georgia, over and up to Atlanta and Athens in this as well. Dalton, Georgia, over to Greenville, South Carolina, Charlotte, all in this winter storm watch. Now, this means that conditions are, the potential is there for wintry weather. In terms of snowfall amounts, in terms of exact timing, there are still going to be changes to the forecast, but this is your heads up of what's to come. So we're going to see our disturbance dive down into the south, creating our surface low, and you'll see that right down here over the Gulf of Mexico. Temperatures are warm enough here across South Georgia, northern Florida, that we will see just old rain. And the question is, how far north does that relatively mild air get compared to where the cold air is and where the moisture is? That's going to be one of the forecast challenges. So we take a look at the cold air that moves in, coming in Friday into overnight Friday into Saturday. Friday night is going to be a pretty cold night, and then Saturday doesn't warm up a whole lot. So again, when you time everything together, the cold and the moisture, that's when you get into trouble with the snow, when they all match up at the same time. We track our storm moving right across the northern Gulf of Mexico, our low pressure then heading off the coast and then throwing back some Atlantic moisture too, which is why when you see some of the snow totals, you'll see the forecasts are a bit higher into North Carolina. We'll get a little more moisture at play, plus an energetic low at that point. So let's time it out for you. This is the forecast. Wintry weather possible with some light snow across portions of Arkansas into northern Mississippi. Friday night is when conditions certainly could be very difficult for travel into North Georgia, into South Carolina and North Carolina, continuing into early Saturday, throughout the day on Saturday into Southeast Virginia and Eastern North Carolina. More on this through the morning. Let's check in though with other weather headlines. All right, meanwhile, we are in the deep chill here in the Midwest. Temperatures are feeling sub-zero and will stay feeling sub-zero for hours, in fact for days. So let's take a look at this Arctic air. Minneapolis right now 3 below, feels like 19 below. Wind chill advisories are up for feels like of 20 to 30 below pretty much through the day today. All right, so let's take a look at some of these numbers out here and what we can expect across the area. Temperatures in Minneapolis, well, it's not even the temperature, it's the feels like, and that's really what's going to matter when you go outside today. The feels like will stay sub-zero and well below zero all the way into Saturday. So that's Saturday morning's forecast. You can see we're still feeling like 16 below. The problem is when you get to this 20 below, 30 below, that's when you start to run into frostbite issues, and that can take hold as early as 30 minutes or even sooner. So be extremely cautious out there. Wind chill advisories all the way down into Nebraska and Kansas. All right, Oklahoma, let's take a look at what's coming your way. It's cold. We've got some of those wind chill advisories down into parts of Kansas, way up in the northern part of the state. The temperature is in the teens, it feels like even lower. Look at Denver. It is snowing and 2 degrees, and we're going to keep piling up to maybe a foot of snow around the Denver area. That will move out, and snow will be an issue for us in Oklahoma. You know, even a light coating will cause some issues on the roads there getting into tomorrow. But today, we're looking at temperatures not budging much from where we are. The cold is taking hold. That is your story all across the area. Dallas, we're only going to 40 today. Lubbock, only 32 degrees. And what that feels like, it's going to be much chillier. No, we are going to chill down here as well. The cold really takes over across the nation. So let's take a look at Boston. Live look right now, 29 degrees. Feels like 16 out there. And, you know, like the story of so many others, you're not going to see a lot of warm-ups coming. Snow actually could come in possibly overnight tonight, Boston, and then for tomorrow morning, and then maybe over the weekend, a chance you could see some snow kind of skirting the coast. But let's let's talk about the cold. Let's talk temperatures here. So right now we are in the 20s. We've got a west wind that's fairly gusty and breezy, so it's going to knock down, at least 5 to 10 degrees off your temperature for the feels like, and the wind chill factor. That's going to be a factor all day long. Boston, we only warm up to 34 degrees. The sun will feel good for sure, so seek out the sunny side of the street. For places like Pittsburgh and D.C., we're going to watch some snow move in by the end of today. Buffalo, it's lake effect. Temperatures stay in the 20s. And with that southwest wind, Buffalo, some of it might actually get into town as opposed to the west wind giving us the south towns. So that's something to watch out for. All right, so let's talk about the cold taking hold across the eastern part of the country. It's going to be continuing to move in, digging south today over Texas this weekend, getting into the rest of the southeast. We're talking about Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina. Get ready for a big drop in temperatures that stick around for a couple of days. So temperatures going 10 to 25 degrees below average into the south, into the mid-Atlantic, and even into the northeast, where we won't be that far below average necessarily. Even average this time of year is appropriately chilly for January. So going to 32 in Boston for tomorrow. We'll see temperatures hanging out in the teens across New York into the weekend, staying into the 20s. All right, speaking of the weekend, time for the weekend in view, and we'll take you out to that forecast. Big story for today is really twofold. We've got one system moving through the Midwest into the Ohio Valley. That's going to bring some light snow into D.C., possibly overnight New York by the morning. Then, of course, our western system continues to move out. We'll see snow spreading on Friday throughout parts of Oklahoma, Arkansas, and then watching the southeast. Friday night into Saturday morning, snow could be accumulating into northern Georgia, into the upstate of South Carolina, central parts of North Carolina, and then into southeastern Virginia. That goes away and gets out of here by Saturday night into Sunday. Things are clearing out, but still chilly, but at least the sun will be out. Temperatures in the 30s. Then the west. Big storm on the way for the West End.
Coming up on half past the hour right now on this Thursday. Thank you for staying with us on AMHQ Early.
After crushing some parts of California, Oregon, and Utah with feet of snow, Winter Storm Helena is delivering more today, and it's really just getting started. We're going to take here and actually just going to keep on reloading with cold across the area. Let's talk snow. We've got snow out there on 70 and on 65, traveling through Indiana. Snow is fairly light across central Illinois and into Missouri. St. Louis, again, some light snow in the area, but south of there, you are in some steadier snow. And we picked up about 1 to 3 inches of snow already overnight in Kansas City. So that's there for your commute this morning. But you can see we're going to get a little more moisture coming in. The western burbs commuting into Kansas City, get ready for that. In Denver, it is snowing out here with a temperature of 2 this morning. Roads will be tough. It's been a decent snowfall right through the overnight. So we tracked this through today. St. Louis, your winter weather advisory is in effect until noon. But for Indianapolis, until 9 o'clock tonight, we'll see that spread into Ohio, western Pennsylvania, throughout the Keystone State. Actually, we'll see some light snow moving in. And this is really a fairly light snow, 1 to 3 inches, not even to advisory level, actually, for places like New York City or D.C. But, an inch or two of snow, even though it's not a lot, can still cause an impact on the roadways. So be ready for that later today into tonight. Overnight tonight is when we'll talk about it there for the mid-Atlantic and parts of the Northeast. Here we go with the snow yet to come. So fairly light in most spots. When you get help from elevation, like here in the Appalachians, we'll see 5 to 8 inches of snow. And of course, the lake effect, that will be piling up off of Lake Ontario into the Tug Hill Plateau. We could see more than a foot or two of snowfall, and about a foot plus south of Buffalo, right there off of Lake Erie as well. For St. Louis, when we just talk about Winter Storm Helena, St. Louis, it's going to be very light additional snowfall accumulation, but staying with us through about the lunch hour, then staying cloudy and cold into the afternoon. I think getting an early heads up is one thing, but also timing is another thing that may be on our side in the south as it comes into the weekend. So let's talk about this. Winter weather alerts are up. That's winter storm watches that have been posted in Alabama, Georgia, and South Carolina, and parts of North Carolina. Winter storm watch means that wintry weather is possible, and the timing is Friday into overnight Friday and early Saturday. The thing is, these need to be either turned into a winter weather advisory or a winter storm warning, and that's still yet to be determined by the National Weather Service. Expect changes in the forecast still yet to come in amounts and timing, although the models have been fairly consistent on the timing of this. Regardless of how much each model is putting out in terms of accumulation, they've both been pretty much in line with the timing when it comes to the European and the GFS American model. So So let's look at timing. We've got rain. It's very chilly rain spreading into parts of Louisiana, southern Louisiana, including New Orleans. We'll see that spread into southeast Georgia by Friday night. But then we got the cold air coming in and matching up with the moisture. So there is that wintry potential across central Alabama into northern and central Georgia, upstate of South Carolina, and then North Carolina. A lot of the state will be impacted by this wintry weather. In fact, it could be a more significant accumulation up here from, say, the Raleigh Triangle area up into southeastern Virginia. I want to quickly show you that accumulation. Again, the potential for it to be heavier from Raleigh points to the north and east. Close to a foot is possible as we look at that forecast. Lighter amounts, but still possible accumulating snow back across the upstate of South Carolina into Georgia.
And so everyone who's lived here in the last 5 years, you say snow and they get really nervous, right? They think about what happened that January of 2014. Everyone's making a mad dash for milk and bread. A travel nightmare could be a potential for Atlanta. Traffic snarled, and this was in 2014. Cars abandoned, people stuck in their vehicles for hours. Alex Wilson takes a look back at the epic event.
Right now, that will be there through the morning commute here in Denver. It's going to affect air travel and road travel as well. And then we show you what's up next as we track just a persistent feed of moisture here into the west. For now, we're going to be watching that moisture continue to be pulled in from the Pacific. It's snowing in Colorado. It's snowing in Utah and Salt Lake City. We're still getting snow falling in the area with some totals coming in from the Wasatch of up over a foot and a half of snow already. Plus snow is still coming down. You can see that right here on our radar. 19 degrees in Salt Lake City, 1 degree in Denver, and there is a swath of steadier snow now getting into parts of Kansas. Northern Kansas will be affected by that. The snow that we've been watching for you in the Midwest is fairly light. Kansas City, we picked up about 1 to 3 inches overnight. St. Louis, it's been a light coating of snow on all the roadways, but it hasn't been tremendously heavier there. It may be now getting into southern Missouri and getting into southern parts of Illinois. It looks like a little steadier swath of snow right there. Indianapolis, it's been very light, but still snowing and coating the roadways with temperatures as cold as they are. So we track this east through the day today. Winter weather advisory in St. Louis until noon. In Indianapolis, it goes until 9 o'clock tonight, and you'll see that snow, though, starting to taper off by this afternoon. Then we turn our attention for the evening commute to Pittsburgh. We'll see snow there. Charleston, West Virginia. By this evening, D.C., we could get a light coating of snow coming in as well. Philadelphia and Center City and all across the state of New Jersey and New York City. By tomorrow morning, we could have a new snow coat, although it should be fairly light in terms of accumulations, an inch or two. We're not expecting much out of that. Snowfall for you today will be really the only spots up here that get any significant snow will be with the help of the mountains, like into West Virginia, but also the lake effect will really be piling up coming off of Lakes Erie and Ontario, the south towns of Buffalo and Watertown. Tough weather out there right now in Watertown in New York. And then we turn our attention to the south.
Yes. Yeah.